Hello. Do you ever get the feeling that sometimes you might just be a little too good, and it's not really fair to you for you to play in low tier games? Because this game made me feel that way. It's in my Storozhevoi, the tier 2 Russian, I suppose, destroyer, and I played it late at night, so it's at low tier. It's only a 7-a-side game, which generally means there's not a lot of damage to do, so you're not going to make a lot of experience or credits, usually. Originally on this map, Big Race, I was heading towards where the destroyers usually go, off to the left side of the map, or really I should say the west side of the map. But I realised I was going there by myself, so I decided to head straight up the centre and just support my team where I can. And we can see all the rest of my team are cruisers, and they've basically all headed up the eastern side of the map where they've encountered a couple of enemy cruisers. And like I said, I'm just going to come around the corner here, head straight across the open sea and support where I can. Just coming into range now. The Storozhevoi of course has very long range guns, which makes it a pretty effective skirmisher. It's also got very powerful short range torpedoes, which makes it good in close. It's just kind of in the middle ranges that it struggles a bit. Fire off a single shot at the enemy Dresden there, and it misses. The turret traverse isn't great on the Storozhevoi, so it's going to take a while to bring my rear guns around, but here they go. And I'm getting a few hits now, doing a bit of damage, but I'm going to have to stop shooting at the Dresden soon, especially since an enemy destroyer has popped up on the other side of me. I figure it's just outside my torpedoes range, so I decided to fake some speculative shots while I bring my guns around. Only fire 3 torpedoes, I have 9 in total, but I'd rather save the other 6 for something more certain than that. I actually gave a bit much lead there, but my other shots are pretty spot on. And doing a little bit of damage. And it looks like that destroyer's going to run aground. Yes, so quickly readjust my aim. And missing. Okay, there we go. Not often you miss a stationary target. Oh, I managed to set it on fire. But I've had my engine knocked out by that cruiser behind it. So I repair that quickly and start pulling back. I was kind of happy just fighting this destroyer by itself, but with actually 2 cruisers backing it up, or soon to be 2 cruisers backing it up, it's probably not a safe spot to be in. But taking away almost half that destroyer's hit points, I've been set on fire and I can't put that fire out for a little while. I'm about to run aground, so hard to starboard to go around the island, and I figure I'll just get in close with these 2 cruisers in front of me. So far the game's even, with both lost a cruiser off on the eastern flank here, and I was kind of hoping to come around here and ambush this Orlan, but well, it spotted me and it's shooting at me, which is going to make things a bit more difficult. But the Orlan and the Storozhevoi are actually pretty similar ships. The advantage I've got is that I don't have a citadel, so while I can citadel the Orlan as I just did, it's going to struggle to citadel me. And that's why it's down to, well, 1600 hit points, whereas I've still got 4000. Fire off 6 of my torpedoes. And fire away with my guns. It turns out my torpedoes probably weren't necessary. Well, they're definitely not necessary since I basically just stole the kill there from my torpedoes. But sunk an enemy cruiser. One more enemy cruiser over here. It's a Dresden and it's just coming around the island so I can shoot at it. And one hit, it's got a tiny bit of hit points left, and I miss. So do my allies, but my next broadside finishes it off. So that's 2 enemy cruisers destroyed. And so the enemy ships that ones that we know where they are back at the enemy base, so I figure I'm going to go around and support this Orlan as it pushes around the island. Put a bit of fire into the Dresden though while I can. Don't really expect to do a lot of damage with my guns against a Dresden, but if my team are all firing away at it as well, it's probably best that I help. Might start a fire and force it to use up one of its repair consumables. But I'm not doing that well at the moment. I'm only firing my forward gun because my rear guns are facing the wrong direction. And just not getting any hits, and well, the island's blocking my shot now. So I'm just going to focus on coming around and supporting the Orlan. I should also say I set my smoke screen off there by accident. I was trying to push the speed boost and hit T instead of Y. So, waste of a smoke screen. But I don't really use the smoke screen much in Storozhevoi. I prefer to just hang back at range and fire my guns where you don't really need a smoke screen. Anyway, a Hashidate. It's a pretty alright tier 1 cruiser, but this kind of range I'm pretty confident in my ability to destroy it, especially with an all-out in support. Getting a few hits and doing a bit of damage. I thought for a second that it actually stopped, but it's not. It's just going really slowly, so my broadside there missed. But adjust my aim quickly and get a few more hits on the Hashidate. It's just unfortunately because these are very small guns, they take a lot of hits to actually sink your enemies. So most games in my Storozhevoi are just kind of like this, hanging back, shelling, doing 500 damage, and then 500 damage a few seconds later until the enemy's dead. Anyway, that Dresden from earlier is back shooting at me. Got a hit on me, but not really major damage. It's also got quite weak guns. And it actually looks like they're all focusing on the all-out in front of me now. Which is kind of bad, but at least it means that I can fire away at this Hashidate without any distractions. And it's almost dead. And of course I start missing it as soon as it's almost dead. My allied Orlan's just been sunk, which means I'm kind of pulling back. I don't really want to... Oh, managed to sink the Hashidate with a citadel penetration. But as I say, I want to be basically as far away from this Dresden as possible, just to make it hard for it to hit me. And I'm also kind of pulling back because I've got an allied cruiser back here and I'd rather be fighting the Dresden with it supporting me rather than by myself. But I'm doing alright damage to the Dresden and it's not really hitting me. Just switch out to have a look at where its shells are landing. You can see they're landing, well, basically one shell every second, probably even a bit quicker than that. You managed to hit me there. Generally its shells are falling short though, and a bit behind me. But I'm just keeping wiggling just to make it a bit harder for it to predict where I'm going to be. And yeah, those shots there look alright. Nope, they're still short. While this is happening, of course I'm firing away at it and I'm doing pretty consistent damage. 495 there, more than 1,000 or just under 1,000 there, and the Dresden doesn't have a lot of hit points, so it's already lost half of them. And my allied area is just about to, well, it has just come around into a position where it can shoot it, and the Dresden switches focus to fire at the Eyrie. But that Samson from earlier on the enemy team has just been spotted, and it's just heading into our cap circle. And unfortunately that cruiser you see on the minimap kind of near our cap circle is actually AFK. Which means that I'm basically going to have to go the whole length of the map to try and stop that Samson from capping. Now I don't really like the idea of abandoning my Eyrie here to fight the Dresden alone, but it's really the only way we can win at this point. The Eyrie's not going to make it back in time. Oh, and there's my high caliber medal, as I do a little bit more damage to the Dresden. I think high caliber medals are fairly easy to get in, games with there are only a few enemy ships because there are so few hit points available. And I destroyed that Dresden, so that's my 4th kill. So yeah, I'm doing pretty well. It's just a case of whether I can get back to the cap circle in time to stop the Samson from basically winning the game. That Eyrie's doing the smart thing and heading towards the enemy cap circle to counter cap, which means that if I can get in there and hit the Samson, we'll probably win. The only real risk is that the enemy Hermelin is, well, unspotted. We don't know where it is. If it can come back and, engage the cruiser in the enemy cap circle, that will make things a bit more difficult for us. But it actually looks like I'm going to make it back in time. I've just used my speed boost, which is going to put my top speed up to 37.7 knots, which is pretty fast, and I've already travelled probably half the distance I had to, and the enemy team are, well, on halfway to capping. So I should make it in time. I've really just got to get into the cap circle to stop the enemy team from capturing. But the Samson, fortunately for me, fires, so I get to spot it early, and I fire off a single shot. And because it was on such low hit points, that's enough to get my 5th kill and the Kraken Unleashed medal. And I turn away, going back to support my ally in capturing, and I realise the enemy team are still capturing our base. Which means that enemy Hermelin must be in our cap circle somewhere. And basically the only place it could be is behind that island, and yep, there it is. I was hoping to come around the island with it within my torpedo range, especially since I see it's on full health. But fortunately for me, its guns are pointing the wrong direction, and it's a bit of confusion at first, I think, for the Hermelin about where I'm shooting it from, so it takes a while to get its guns on target. And I don't really do a lot of damage. Apparently its arm is thick enough to keep out, well, my high explosive shells if they land around the belt. But I do a little bit. I'm actually close enough to fire my torpedoes now, but I don't want to turn while its guns are loaded. So I wait for it to fire, and then swing around, fire off all 9 of my torpedoes, and then switch back to my guns. Fortunately I wasn't actually hit in that manoeuvre, and I'm going to do a little bit more damage with my guns, but the Hermelin sails straight into my torpedoes, so I get a devastating strike there, and my 6th kill. So 7 ships on the enemy team, I killed 6 of them, getting a high caliber, a devastating strike, and a Kraken Unleashed. And as you can expect, my statistics in this game are basically what you'd predict from that kind of thing. So yeah, I played that game, and I thought I actually had fun. There was a bit of thought in there, a bit of, strategy. It was a bit challenging, but I kind of outclassed everybody on both teams quite hard in that game, except for maybe the enemy Dresden. That also got a high caliber and was probably carrying the game. But realistically, the decisive battle, what was going to decide that match was basically me versus the Dresden. Just, it seems like the skill of me versus the average player in that game was vastly superior, and same as the Dresden was vastly superior than the other 12 players in the game. And as it was, I was able to defeat the Dresden with the help of that area at the end there. So my team was able to win. Especially in engagements like against the Hermelin at the end there, where its guns were pointed in the wrong direction. It took a long time to get its guns around. It didn't maneuver at all. I was thinking, yeah, it's probably actually not that fair if I'm playing against players like that. So, yeah. Maybe I won't play Tier 2 so much anymore. It just seems a bit unfair. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time.